Hi all, welcome to my channel Semper Astra. My name is Maggie and in today's video I will share with you how, thanks to the fact that I moved to small seaside town, my life changed for much more easier and much more beautiful in every possible way. At the beginning of this video, I just wanted to mention that this video will be slightly different to my previous videos on this channel because so far I have been sharing strategies and life hacks that are making my life easier as a totally blind person, and I also have been sharing my reviews of my favorite scents and fragrances. And this time I decided just to do a story time type of video. And the reason I decided to record story time type of video is that I personally really enjoy listening to stories shared by other people on YouTube. And I find many of these stories very, very inspiring. So I thought that you may find it helpful and in some way inspiring when I will share a story of the very positive time in my life and also of the story about me making a very, very positive change in my life. So I will start this story by sharing that ever since I remember, ever since I was a very, very young child, I always dreamed of living somewhere close to the nature, close to the sea, river, or the lake, because ever since I remember, I loved swimming, I loved all of the water sports, and I particularly loved swimming in the sea, in the lake, in the river. And I really, really enjoyed walking in nature. I really enjoyed bike rides in nature. And I just enjoyed being in fresh air and close to nature. But as with most of people, when I was a young adult, my choices where to live were dictated by choices of university, and then I was choosing the place to live by thinking where I have the best opportunity to start my professional career and where I will have the best opportunities to further develop my professional career. So when after I finished university, I decided to move to the UK, I decided to move to the second biggest city in the UK, which is Birmingham. And this choice was dictated by the fact that I already knew people in Birmingham, so I wasn't worried about being lonely in Birmingham. And I also knew that because Birmingham is second biggest city in England, that this big city will provide me with many work opportunities. And I was right. I lived in Birmingham for about 11, 12 years. And in this town, I found my first voluntary work. Then I found my first full-time jobs and all of my subsequent jobs. I had wonderful work experiences. I had amazing opportunities to further develop my professional career. I also had opportunity to attend university and to complete 2 postgraduate diplomas. In Birmingham, I also met many amazing people with whom I hope I will be friends till the end of my life. And because I lived in a very convenient place in town, I lived in Birmingham city center, I had many opportunities to meet with people, to meet with my friends. There were many amazing places to meet friends and to spend time together. So it was amazing. Living in Birmingham was amazing in many, many different ways. And I am very, very grateful for this time. And I also strongly believe that in my life, everything happened in the best possible order for me. And also, the timing of things was the best it could have been for me as well. So, as I said, I enjoyed many, many things about living in Birmingham. However, I also faced some challenges. And the biggest challenge for me was the distance between places and also the congestion of busy city and also the time travel. So throughout this whole 10 years, 11 years of my life in Birmingham, wherever I worked, I always had to get up around 6 a.m., leave my flat just after 7 a.m., and I was always back at home after 7 p.m. So I was always away from home for 12 hours or longer. And unfortunately, this was very, very tiring. And unfortunately, this stopped me from achieving many of my other goals. So, for example, I always wanted to live active lifestyle, and I always wanted to eat healthy, to cook healthy food. But because I traveled for so long, and because I was away from my flat for so long, I was always exhausted throughout the week. And I clearly remember these moments when on Tuesday or on Wednesday I was hoping that it will be Friday. And I also very clearly remember a few moments when I was saying to myself, Maggie, you can't wish your life away. You need to do something that you enjoy, your daily life, that you enjoy every minute of your life, not just weekends. However, because I enjoyed my work a lot, because I enjoyed my life a lot, I couldn't figure out like what to do, then. But everything changed the day the pandemic started and the day we started working from home. And working from home just showed me how much time I have for myself, for my hobbies, for my health, for my well-being when I don't travel to work. And I discovered that when I don't travel so far, I literally have ocean of time for myself after work and before work. And this discovery was literally life-changing for me. And I kind of knew in theory that if I didn't travel, this would be the case. But I accepted that everyone who lives in big city like Birmingham, like London, like New York, like Paris, travels a lot. And I just accepted my life for what it was. And only after I experienced not traveling, I decided that I want this sort of life, that I don't want to travel anymore, that I don't want to commute for so long every day. So when the my work started to make plans to return to office work, I decided that I have to make some changes because I want to work from the office. Yes, of course, this is very valuable, but I knew that I am unable to cope anymore with the journeys to and from work. So I decided to move to the town where I will be able to work and live in the same town, where I will be able to walk to work, or if I will have to travel, my travel will be not too long, if that makes sense. But I also knew that for me move will be difficult because I will be moving to a totally new environment. I will have to learn all of the new routes, and for the blind person it is always very difficult, that I will have to kind of start my life from the scratch again. So I decided that this move has to give me more than just one benefit, that it has to give me more things than just not traveling to work. So this is how I decided to move to the seaside town. And I was very lucky because at this point, every town in the south of England at the seaside was looking for new CBT therapists, and this is what I do for life. And because I wasn't sure how difficult it will be to find a new job, I applied to several places. Initially, I planned to move to a different town because the connection between Birmingham and that town was easier than between Hastings, where I live now, and Birmingham. And I was a little bit afraid of moving to the town where I don't know anyone. So I was saying, oh, if I will be lonely, I will just hop on a train and I will travel back to Birmingham to see my friends. But then I, when I was in the process of kind of recruitment after the interview, I decided that I actually will choose my second choice. I don't know. I just preferred the vibe of the place in Hastings, and I decided to go with my second choice. Although the journey is far more complicated and it was far more kind of risky move. But now I am very, very happy with my choice. I absolutely love Hastings. It is a beautiful town, historical town, with lots of history behind this town, lots of historical places in town and in the area. And I also enjoy the fact that it is a very artistic place, full of people who love art, who are actively doing artistic work, lots of eccentric, interesting people, eccentric in a positive way people, lots of people with very, very fascinating hobbies, with fascinating jobs. Also, lots of beautiful local shops with local products, beautiful coffee shops, many opportunity to meet other people, and also place where it is easy to kind of engage in your hobbies. So although the journey is far more complex, I don't regret this choice at all, and I am very, very happy, and I wouldn't change this town for any other town. And I have to say that on practical level, this move wasn't easy at all because the restrictions caused by the pandemic were still very severe in England. So, for example, one could only stay in the hotel only for business reasons. So I was lucky I could stay in the hotel because I was looking for accommodation because I was changing job. So I could prove that I'm changing job, so I was allowed to stay in the hotel and look for the flat to rent. But also, even organizing viewings for the flats to rent was quite complex. So my first choice wasn't the best, but it also wasn't the worst, but it's again a different story. And because I was a little bit, in a natural way, afraid and anxious about this move, I made a lot of preparations before I moved. So first of all, I agreed with guide dog school that they will support me with mobility lessons as soon as I move. And this is what happened. I am very grateful that I received a lot of support from guide dog school with learning new routes in Hastings, which was a totally new town to me. And by the way, I never been to Hastings before. So I made this choice to live in Hastings just based on my knowledge from internet about this town, and also from the knowledge that I gained from other people. So I don't know. It is interesting fact, and I believe that I was kind of brave to do this, or maybe silly, or maybe both. But as I said, it was a really good choice. So I am very, very grateful that guide dogs supported me with learning new routes very quickly and as soon as I moved to this new town. So they supported me with learning my route from my flat to my work, to local beach, which is the safest to swim, and also to all of the local important shops. And they also helped me to understand the general layout of the town, and that was really, really precious. And I also made connections with people who swim regularly in the sea in Hastings through Facebook. And through Facebook, I introduced myself. I arranged to meet with this group, and I was very warmly welcomed to town and to swimming community. And through special app that is linking blind people who would like to start running with volunteers who are guiding blind people when running, I met people from a running kind of group in Hastings. And till this very day, I am supported with running by one of the Hastings runners, and I am very, very grateful for this support as well and for meeting this person. And thanks to the fact that I made these preparations, this transition to this new town was easier for me and less anxiety provoking and also very, very friendly. Just to give you a time scale, I moved to Hastings on Tuesday evening. I arrived here, and when I arrived here, I discovered that the sink in the kitchen is totally blocked and that I'm unable to use the kitchen and the kitchen sink. And already on Wednesday, I had several invitations for dinner because people knew that I cannot use my kitchen. So you can see how quickly this happened, that I made connections here, which is amazing. I also very quickly discovered that in this little town, well, it is not that little town, but in this much smaller town, it is much easier to make connections and really friendly and warm connections with neighbors and also with owners of local businesses, that they are very friendly and that they are very open to talk and very helpful. And also I discovered that general public on the streets is much more open, friendly, and much more happy to talk and to kind of be chat, to open to chat and to kind of like arrange some meetings just to meet up than it was in a big town. So another thing that I want to emphasize is the fact that all of my plans and all of my hopes happened, and what is more, my hopes and my dreams were exceeded. So as I mentioned, I always dreamed about being able to swim regularly, and because I didn't have to travel in this town sometimes. Remember, in Birmingham, I was finishing work at 5 and I was back at home after 7. In this town, I was finishing and I'm finishing work, for example, at 5 and I'm in the sea like 12 past 5. So it is so close and easy, right? And thanks to the fact that I don't have to travel to work for so far and for so long, I can enjoy the sea, the nature around Hastings on daily basis. And after a whole day of being at work, I'm still able, time-wise, and I still have energy to go for a swim in the sea, to enjoy it, to close the door on working day in a healthy way, in a healthy manner, and to enjoy my private life without feeling exhausted. And this is amazing. In Birmingham, the only opportunity for exercising was gym. And here I can exercise and be active in nature, which I really, really appreciate. So as you can see, this dream also happened. And what I also want to say, that not only my well-being improved, but also my health improved. Now I am able to run for bigger distance than ever before. Maybe this is kind of like a weird thing to say, but I want to say it because it is a very important thing. After 20 years of struggling with my weight because of steroids that I had to take because of my sight loss and many surgeries that I had after my sight loss, unfortunately I had problems with maintaining healthy weight. Now, first time in 20 years, I am correct weight for my height, which I'm sure would never happen if I haven't moved and if I was not able to live this much healthier lifestyle and much slower lifestyle. Also, I am able to swim much further than ever before, and I can walk for as long and as far as I wish. So my health was never as good as it is now, which I really, really, really appreciate. So just to sum up, my life improved in a social way. My fears also didn't come true because when I was moving to Hastings, I was a bit worried that I may lose my friends in Birmingham, but this never happened. Not only I travel back to Birmingham to visit my Birmingham friends, but also my Birmingham friends come to visit me here in Hastings, which is amazing. Also, my family and friends from Poland enjoy coming to this beautiful seaside town. So I never lost friends, but I gained new friends. So my social life has improved. My well-being has improved. My diet improved. My exercise has improved. My kind of energy level improved because I am much more rested. And also my dreams came true. I am able finally to spend my free time the way I like most, if that makes sense. So if you're hesitant whether to make a big step and to realize your big dream or one of your big dreams, I wish you lots of strength, lots of courage, lots of support, and I strongly encourage you to try it. You may always go back to what it was. And it is so important to try, because if you never try, you will never know how good it can be. And if you never try, you never test yourself in these new circumstances. And things may appear to be easier than you think they will be. So again, I wish you all the best on your journey to realizing your dreams, and see you soon in my future videos. Bye bye!